So this morning we heard about a tweet or from a tweet that Trump was going to be meeting with Putin. I put out a little something letting you know that that was going to happen. And here's the follow up that I promised. So Greg Terry and I have worked together on many things, including a fundraiser that's going on right now. So Greg has gotten the transcript from the Russian side. We're going to talk about it and provide everything that we can for what we know as of this moment. Greg, thanks for doing this quickly.
You're very welcome. And I know a lot of people probably saw my earlier video update where I went through the details of it. But since then, guys, a lot more has unfolded and we need to dive into it. So we'll start by saying thank you and away we go. First of all, the thing I want to draw your attention to is this. This is the thumbnail on mine, and I'm sure Prof's will be something similar. Lights, camera, action. Let's make some movies together. Great idea. Russian values, American values. And yes, this is what Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin talked about today. And since that call, some very disturbing things have happened that we need to talk about. But before we do that, Prof, you said it. I'd like to say congratulations to the world. The project is completed. We have went over the goal. And as we said, 79,000 euro raised as of an hour ago. Now it's over 80,000. And a reminder that anything going over will go to other needs of the 100th Mechanized Brigade. But we'll be closing this out. The 5 drones are already going to be put into the pipeline to be ordered. And I'll get out there with Zhenya and you'll see the drone operators as we fly the drones you're buying. So it's done.
It's pretty awesome that the world is generous and cares as they do. So in spite of what's going on at the top political levels in the high places in governments, it's nice to see that people care.
So thank you guys. Mission accomplished. Let's go to this one. I want to start with this because it's the thumbnail and the title. This is confirmed. Putin and Trump had an extensive discussion on the possibility of exchanging films promoting traditional values close to the Russian Federation and the U.S. presidential administration now in the United States. We want to exchange propaganda films.
This is like a drunk talking about sobriety. I mean, it really, like, if you look at what are the traditional values that like Putin is talking about, you know, what church attendance is, or the abortion rate, or the this or that or the other thing. I mean, you just name the indicator, and Russia's not doing so hot. They're talking about, we want to have a large family. Putin was talking about that today. We want you to have large families, like, right? Because you want more soldiers. That's very different than wanting large family because, you know, their children are a blessing from the Lord. That's very different. So
think about this. They talked about making and exchanging films. It's a fact, guys. I've got the transcript. I listened to the whole conversation. And while that's happening, while we're talking about exchanging values right now, as the time of this recording, over 100 Shaheeds are flying, and big target tonight is Kyiv. So why would you even think about discussing values? In addition to that, let me throw this to you, Prof. Today, Russia became the first nation to recognize sovereignty of Afghanistan and the Taliban leadership with the Taliban flag. And it is now flying over the embassy in Moscow. A big celebration today in Russia as they officially recognized the Taliban. And we want to make a video.
And that's really bizarre when you think about the Russians in Afghanistan in the 80s. And I mean, that's one of the things that really weakened the Soviet Union. In fact, you know, you probably haven't watched Rambo 3. Rambo 3 was Rambo working with the Taliban in order to defeat the Russian or the Soviets at the time. And it just about fell apart about the time that the movie came out, and nobody ever watched it except me. I watched that.
Well, I'm sorry to harp on it, but we're thankful that we accomplished the fundraiser. And as things begin to come out after the phone call, I'm just really frustrated because, and you'll see how jovial the conversation was.
Let's talk about the phone call itself, though, because not a lot of people, not everybody has seen what happened in the phone call. So let's get into that.
Okay.
And then what happened after.
Well, let me ask you this question before we get into that. Okay. Because it's going to lead us right in. Did Ukraine offer to fully cease fire?
Sure. Yes.
Did Ukraine offer to not strike Russian targets?
Yes.
Did Ukraine sign a mineral deal?
Yes.
Then what in the heck's the problem? That's all I'm going to say on that. Let's keep going. Bratchuk, and this is going right about the phone call.
Glory to Ukraine. Trump talked to Putin. Peskov commented, Russia still exists, sadly. Bad news, as today was rough. But there was good too. Can't kill a dream. Ever think about post-war plans? Let's dream about after our victory. Don't say we need to survive first. We don't know what tomorrow brings. But let's dream it can't be killed. Hold the line. Glory to the nation. Death to enemies.
So that's just a response of Bratchuk. I follow him, volunteer army leader there in Ukraine. So you can see, oh, we had the call. Peskov talked. We keep fighting. Jake Bro putting this tweet out.
I saw that one.
Yeah. I messaged him. I said, can I use your tweet? He goes, yeah, man. Trump and Putin held their 6 phone calls so far this year. Looks about once a month. Trump has to check in with Putin or his boss for a performance review. Now, here we get to the call, Prof. This is Yuri Ushakov. And I wanted to validate to people that I actually have his full press release and the transcript. So everything we're going to share over the next few minutes and get Prof's comments on, it's fact, guys. Ushakov, Trump began the conversation with Putin with information about the passage of his economic bill. So now we know that has happened. Then Putin congratulated Trump on U.S. Independence
so let's stop
Day.
there for a second.
Okay.
The one big beautiful bill, what it does to Ukraine is indirectly reducing military support, reducing support for NATO, reducing support for foreign programs that would have soft power involved and that sort of thing. Other than that, you can probably safely ignore the one big beautiful bill as far as anything foreign policy relates. That's pretty much it. The rest is all domestic stuff.
Okay, thank you. Putin then congratulated Trump on our upcoming 4th of July holiday. And buckle your seatbelt. This is a quote. Noted Russia's contribution to the development of American statehood.
What was Russia's contribution exactly? Like,
I don't know.
Okay, so if my memory serves me correctly, there wasn't a lot, but I think
Alaska.
it was John Quincy Adams in the Court of Catherine or something along those lines. But not a lot came out of that.
Very little.
I mean, really, it was French support that was really helpful, more than Russian. But my memory doesn't serve to. There's not a lot there.
Well, that's the fact. I mean, regardless, there's very little there, and to even be discussing that, and these are facts, guys. This is what they talked about. They then discussed the situation around Iran and the Middle East in general. And we know where each nation stands on that, I think. Putin and Trump, this is when they discussed the possibility of exchanging films, promoting traditional values. We discussed that. And then Putin and Trump did not discuss the possibility of a personal meeting, but the idea is in the air for them. No meeting scheduled. And then I'm saving the Ukraine stuff altogether. It is impossible, direct quote, to say who hung up the phone first, Putin or Trump.
No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
But they noted that the translators were the last to hang up. You can't make this stuff up, man. 1.5 hours. They were on the same wavelength. It was businesslike and concrete. And that's like Russian translation, concrete means it was solid. It was good. All right. Putin confirmed to Trump Russia's readiness to continue the negotiation process with Ukraine.
I'm sure they're ready to continue. They're not ready to conclude it. That's the problem.
Great observation there. Third, Putin told Trump that Russia will not back down from its goals to eliminate the root causes of the conflict in Ukraine.
Yeah, and the root causes are actually Russian imperialism, and so that's actually what's causing it. That's what's driving it. They won't say it like that, but yeah. And
a plethora of lies that the propaganda is pushing. Now, here's the one to me, other than the camera, let's make a movie together. This one, oh, well, and maybe Russia helping America become great again. Third, this one gets me. The talks in Istanbul, Trump was informed, will remain bilateral between Russia and Ukraine only. No third parties allowed other than the host nation of Turkey. And there are no dates set for the next conversation.
So why does that get you?
Well, what that gets me in is this: America's out. I think we're seeing the precursor to America being out. And, you know, it was just a couple of days ago that Trump made some statements and, you know, celebrating the work in the Middle East and Iran that, hey, if Putin would ever to come down to Turkey, I'd go straight to Turkey. We could have a talk. So that has been taken off of the table. There's going to be no Witkoff. There's going to be no Kellogg. There's going to be no Rubio. It's going to be Russia and Ukraine only. And there's no date set for it. Basically, Putin invited America to back away.
Well, okay, so that's a bad scenario, but the worst scenario is America there on the side of the table with Putin, right? So, I mean,
No question.
it's kind of count your blessings. It's not optimal, but it could be worse. And
Well, it's why I played the Bratchuk 20-second video for you first. It's a great guy there, great analyst every day. I watch him every morning. He's up at 5 a.m. putting out the overnight update and then the evening update. He said it just clearly. It was a bad day. They talked. Peskov commented, we fight on. Now, Trump requested a speedy end to military action in Ukraine.
and
And confirmed the topic of ending or pausing U.S. armed supplies to Ukraine was not raised in the conversation at all today.
and this is from the transcript.
100% accurate.
Well, it's not like Putin doesn't know. So,
But here's the problem. And on my earlier video today, I shared it. Donald Trump's first tweet after this was about the reduction in prices of eggs.
yep.
Okay, in the Waffle
Saw that.
House. And now, and you correct me if I'm wrong, now with the passage of the big bill, we now will be seeing if Elon Musk will form a third party, as he said he would. We are seeing all focus in the United States, and not internationally, but in the United States, looking at that, how it's going to affect the United States. All of that's going to be consuming the media in the United States.
I think it's all speculation that is not going to go anywhere until it does, if it does, and I wouldn't worry about it.
Well,
I highly doubt at this point that's, I mean, you can talk, but as you know from the negotiations, talk is just talk. It's not action. So
but
you
it
actually have a country,
distracts
I don't think you need to worry about the third party
for Musk.
from Musk. Yeah, I just don't see it.
Yeah, but I'm not really worried about the third party. What I'm concerned about is it's just going to be more attention coming off of Ukraine from the Trump administration.
Oh yeah, anything that takes attention off Ukraine is what he wants.
That's what I'm trying to say. And this was the conversation, hour and a half. They just basically loved on each other. A majority of the conversation was not about Ukraine for time wise. It was about the Middle East, Iran, working together, friendly, and a lot of talk. And I put the bullets in here about economic cooperation.
Yeah, and that's the real misery, is that you're putting the cart before the horse. You got to get the war ended. You have to have justice served, and then you start maybe talking about, like when the foreign minister from, was it Hungary or Slovakia, that was saying, oh, we need to be talking about forgiveness. Well, I understand. I get what forgiveness
Slovakia
is, but you got to be sorry first, and there has to be justice before you get to any forgiving stage here, right? Like this is not the right place to be talking about.
Let me give you an
same thing with the
inside.
economic deals.
Let me give you an inside peek into Ukrainian people now and culture. And if any Ukrainians are watching, they'll confirm it in the chat. We're beyond, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sure there's generational hatred. Yeah,
It's over.
I get that. Sure. What I'm saying is, to say you should be talking about forgiveness is absolutely silly. Like you have to, it's like when a robber's in your home, defiling your home, beating your children, and say, well, just forgive them.
I think,
That's not the time. This is the time to drive the robber out of your house.
well, I think you put, but the one that the world was looking to drive the robber out of the house wants to make movies about family values with the
Yeah.
robber. Let's just call it the way it is.
Yeah,
And
it's not a good scenario.
you
And so
put
it
out the
makes you wonder
video
what-
about the
Go ahead.
lithium deposit that Russia now is controlling some of that territory on.
Mhm.
Okay, just think about it. It's all about the bottom line when it comes down to it, the deal, and
Mhm.
not. How can you
Look,
go?
if morality was not at all in play, I could understand what Trump is doing. Like, I could understand, like, well, we can be more profitable. We can both be more profitable if this war was behind us. But the morality of destroying Ukraine or letting Ukraine be wiped out by the Russians in order to get there is just not, it's not tenable. So if that wasn't a factor, I could understand it.
How about that? Right now,
Yeah, absolutely.
they were flying when the phone call hung up. Okay, but when it comes down to it, you've put a lot of video out, and that we had some encouragement last week at the NATO conversation. The Ukrainian reporter, her husband on the front, Trump had an emotional moment. He was moved because it was like right in front of him. And then he gets back to DC, and now we get the pause in weapons. We get other information. Now we have the phone call, and we're going to make movies together. Okay, so let me tell a personal story and get your opinion on this. My mother-in-law has early stage dementia. Whatever she's looking at, like if there's a lemon on the counter, she focuses on that lemon, and that's all she can talk about, even though other things are happening around her, or Coca-Cola. But she functions. Everything's good. It's almost, and I'm not making a statement about Trump's health, but it's almost as if whatever circles he's in, that's just where he's at that moment. And whether it's a phone call today with Putin or looking at a Ukrainian reporter and actually being moved by her story and, okay, I'm going to get back and check on Patriots. And then a few days later, we're getting a pause button.
So that leads you to ask, what will the conversation be like tomorrow with Zelensky?
That's where I wanted to go to close this video out.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I will tell you this. Zelensky today did make a comment, and there was not much in it to say. All he said was, they've had a conversation, no problem. But if I'm not in the conversation and Ukraine doesn't have a voice, there's not much to talk about. That was all he said. Yep.
Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow, and
we
we'll
will
certainly keep you posted. If you're not subscribed to Greg's or my channel or both, now's the time to subscribe. Come back tomorrow. We'll keep you notified about what's happening with Zelensky's conversation with Trump, and that's going to be the big story tomorrow.
And once again, to everybody, thank you. Mission accomplished. God bless you all.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
See you later.